Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
And today we're going to talk about stress, financial stress to be exact, and in fact, financial stress within a marriage. It is said now that financial problems contribute to 20 to 40% of all divorces. Let's talk this over with the president of Cotton Wealth Management Associates. And we've got Steve Cotton on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line this morning. Steve, thanks for joining us, and good morning.
Good morning, Des Moines.
So, Steve, let's talk this over. What are the main problems that you see in a marriage when you talk about financial problems, financial stress? What are the couples doing?
Well, lots of times they have failed to make the transition from being solo practitioners and spenders to being part of a financial team. And I see this, it doesn't matter whether people are low income or wealthy. Everybody has those kinds of financial stressors, and it's often, sometimes I see three things. I see either there's a difference in their value system, one's a saver, one's a spender, or they have different decision-making patterns. One is very thoughtful and methodical. The other one is an impulse spender. And sometimes it's just a lack of financial awareness. You've got one person keeps all their receipts, so know exactly what they've spent their money on. The other one doesn't have a clue as to where the money went. So sometimes it's just these differences, but they've never made the transition to team member, and that's at the root of a lot of problems.
So is that innate to each person, Steve, when you say that they need to make a transition to team member, but one's a saver, one's a spender? Are you talking about one person's going to have to change, or how do you handle that as a team?
Well, the first thing is you have to discuss these things and recognize these patterns in a marriage or in a relationship. There are all kinds of ways you can economize. You can look at credit card debt. You can look at your interest rates. You can make decisions differently about how you spend money. But one of the things I recommend couples do is one couple or one partner in the partnership has their own small bank account, and they make minor spending decisions that they don't have to account to the other person for. Same thing with the other party. But then on joint household expenses, groceries, vacations, bass boats, whatever it might be, you do that out of a larger joint account, but you talk about those, you make decisions together, you work as a financial team on the major stuff, and sometimes that can alleviate a lot of stress, is just the way people make decisions, and you move from I'm a solo practitioner kind of model to now I'm a member of a football team model, and you collaborate and you communicate, and that is key.
So, Steve, are we seeing this kind of stress occur now more frequently than we did? Because we've been talking for months now about people struggling to just pay their basic bills, afford groceries, afford eggs, afford gas. Is that straining people more than ever, or are the problems that you are talking about really fundamental to marriage over the years?
I think they're fundamental. People sometimes will have greater financial stress in a recession, or if one of them loses their job due to a layoff. But I see these kinds of financial stress factors in wealthy people as well as people with lower income. You've got people trying to raise kids. You've got people working 2 and 3 jobs. But the key to it is communication first and foremost. Now, there are other things you can do practically to take some of the stress off. For example, one of the things I did one time is I decided to quit going out to eat. I would go to the grocery store and stock up for the month, and then I go out to eat. And I decided I'm going to quit going out to eat so often, and I'm going to eat out of my pantry and see how long that takes me. It took me a month and a half, and I saved hundreds and hundreds of dollars by doing that. You can also look at your credit card statements, and, if you don't pay your credit cards early or on time, the credit card companies, which I call financial vampires, will jack you up into a penalty rate, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're paying 22% or 29% interest rates on your credit card. It's insane. But you can control that if you do your checkbook inventory, your credit card inventory, and develop a plan for how you get back on track and pay on time and talk to your partner.
He is with Cotton Wealth Management Associates. Valuable advice this morning and specific advice from our friend Steve Cotton. Steve, have a great day. Thanks for talking to us today. That is To Your Health, a regular Thursday segment on the WHO Radio Morning Show.